Hey guys, and welcome to Unit 8, Part 4. We are going to be talking about schizophrenia, which is a severe disorder with disorganized and delusional thinking, disturbed perceptions, kind of like a split from reality, with inappropriate emotions and actions, and thoughts or even hallucinations. Psychosis refers to a mental split from reality and from rationality. And schizophrenia symptoms could include disorganized and delusional thinking, disturbed perceptions again, and inappropriate actions and emotions. There are both positive and negative symptoms. Hallucinations, so anything visual. Auditory ones are very, very common, hearing voices. Delusions, seeing stuff you can't really see. Disorganized thought and nonsensible speech, and very bizarre behaviors. Negative or absence of healthy behaviors. Flat affect, there's no emotion, like you don't see any kind of emotion in the face. Reduced social interactions. I can never say this, anhedonia, no feeling of enjoyment, no motivation, hard to focus, talking less, being catatonic, which is moving less. Those are all symptoms that are healthy and not present. Problems in thinking and speaking. Disorganized speech, including word salad. So everything's just kind of like bleh. Delusions, bizarre and can be mistaken. Most delusions are delusions of grandeur. Which are linked commonly with the visual part of our delusions. And these delusions are beliefs that they're almost someone other than who they really are. They could be supernatural, celebrity, have different abilities or powers, and they can try to influence other people that these are real. And then just having difficulty filtering thoughts and being able to speak out loud. Disturbed perceptions, hallucinations that are perceptual. Usually they are auditory, but sometimes they are visual. No one else can hear these voices. Usually it's upsetting the person or shaming, saying like they're worthless or you need to do something. Again, some can be visual, sometimes even smell or touch. If you guys have ever seen one of the earlier episodes of Grey's Anatomy, one woman was diagnosed with schizophrenia and she felt like she had snakes in her veins, or even linked with taste, like always tasting blood or sour. Inappropriate emotions, odd or socially inappropriate responses, like just looking bored or not interested, or even being amused while hearing that someone has passed. Again, flat affect is just where there's no visual emotion, like that emoji is spot on for flat affect. And then impaired perceptions of emotions, not being able to read others' intentions and feelings. So most of us with strong social cues understand like personal space and like please don't bother me or I'm upset. And then inappropriate actions and behavior. This could be errors in social perception, so again, kind of how you interact. Disorganized or unfiltered thinking. Again, delusions and hallucinations. Schizophrenic bodies, or a schizophrenic body, can also show signs of repetitive behaviors like rocking or rubbing or scratching. Kind of like that nervous tic almost. And catatonia is sitting motionless, catatonic. If you guys are familiar with the catatonic seizure, it's kind of where someone just stares off and their eyes just shake. One of my good friends in high school had this, and we had to watch for them during class. Onset. Typically, schizophrenic symptoms appear at the end of adolescence and in early childhood. They say 18 to 25, and it's usually in the later years for women than it is men. 1 in 100 people develop schizophrenia, and it's more men than women, which is interesting. And schizophrenia can be acute, very minor, or pretty severe. In reaction to stress, some people develop positive symptoms like hallucinations, and recovery is really likely if it's chronic schizophrenia. It develops more slowly, with more negative symptoms like the flat effect, withdrawal. There is treatment and support, and there could be periods of normal life and normal functioning in society. However, if people don't go through treatment or they start and stop, this is where we see social problems, poverty, homelessness, all of that. These subtypes, cough, cough, hint, hint, are very important. We have a couple different subtypes of schizophrenia. We have paranoid schizophrenia, which have hallucinations with negative messages, delusions. Disorganized symptom is pretty much flat affect, incoherent speech, and random behavior. Catatonic, rarely initiating or controlling movement, copies other speeches or speech and actions. Undifferentiated, many varied symptoms. And then residual withdrawal continues after positive symptoms have disappeared. And if you're listening to this, be prepared for a quiz very soon. So what's going on in the brain? Too many dopamine and D4 receptors explain paranoia and hallucinations. Poor coordination of neural firing in the frontal lobes could impair judgment, and the thalamus fires during hallucinations, as if real sensations were being received, and that's how these people diagnosed with schizophrenia feel like everything's so real. Biological risk factors. It's more likely to develop if in during birth or during development there was low birth weight. On the mother's side there's diabetes. Older paternal age, so the father's older. Famine or oxygen deprivation during delivery. Or a maternal virus during mid-pregnancy impairing brain development. Schizophrenia is more likely to develop in the babies born during and after flu epidemics. In densely populated areas, a few months after flu season, after mothers had the flu during second trimester or had antibodies showing viral infection. So the lesson is get flu shots with early fall pregnancies. So, can that happen ideally? No. Is it good to get the flu shot? Yes. Do all people have to get it? No. Do what you want. Genetic factors, if one twin has it, there's a chance of the other twin getting it are much greater. If they're identical twins, if they're fraternal, it's not as much. Having adoptive siblings or parents does not increase the likelihood. Even in identical twins, genetics do not fully predict schizophrenia. There could also be environmental differences. Or if twins were in separate placentas. And even if maternal flu during the second trimester doubles the risk of schizophrenia, only 2% of babies develop the disorder. So genetics might differentiate. But sometimes, and with research, we're showing that environmental factors do impact. Are there psychological causes? Research does not support the idea that there's social or psychological factors alone. However, there could be the stress that could lead to the onset of schizophrenia. And then early warning signs. Predicting early warning signs, you need to make sure you're with social and psychological factors, early separation from parents, people with shorter attention span, disruptive or withdrawn behavior, emotional unpredictability, poor peer relations, and or solitary play. Biological factors, having a mother with severe chronic schizophrenia, if there were birth complications, or even poor muscle coordination. So I hope you guys enjoyed this section, and see you guys soon. Don't forget about the quiz.